we are diving straight into the heart of South Korea's future with a look at the critical regional decline crisis. We spoke with high school students in the provinces about their dreams, and the answer reveals a shocking truth about the capital-centered structure that is threatening the entire nation. Discover why the concentration of opportunity in Seoul is creating an impossible situation for young people trying to build a life back home.
Here's a simple way to protect your phone without stress. This ALIN 3-pack comes with tempered glass screen protectors, camera lens protectors, and an installation frame for an easier, cleaner fit. It's clear, case-friendly, and built to help guard against scratches and everyday bumps. Check the link in the comments to get it on Amazon.
Next up, we have urgent international news. The South Korean government has released findings regarding the fire aboard the HMM Namu in the Strait of Hormuz, confirming that the incident was caused by a collision with an unidentified flying object. We break down what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has confirmed about this mysterious event and what the next steps in the investigation will be. Now, let's turn our attention to the fiercely contested real estate market. Following the recent tax changes, the government is signaling a major shift with potential measures aimed at boosting housing supply. We examine what Land, Infrastructure and Transport Minister Kim Yoon-deok is planning to do regarding exceptions for non-resident homeowners and how this could impact property owners across the country. Finally, we look at the fallout from the Strait of Hormuz incident. Seoul has strongly condemned the attack on the civilian vessel, and we explore the intense diplomatic pressure mounting as the investigation continues to search for the responsible party. Stay with us as we bring you the full story on these developing stories. A critical analysis suggests that regional decline and low birth rates in South Korea are not isolated phenomena, but symptoms of a fundamental structural contradiction. A capital-centered economic model that excessively concentrates opportunities in the Seoul metropolitan area while failing to provide viable foundations for life in the provinces. Recent discussions with high school students highlighted that young people in provincial areas are choosing to leave for Seoul due to superior job prospects, education, and cultural opportunities. However, this influx exacerbates the problem in the capital. Seoul's intense competition leads to soaring living costs, particularly in housing and private education. Statistics Korea data reveals that private education spending in Seoul is exceptionally high, and apartment prices often exceed 1 billion won, placing immense financial strain on median-income households, making it difficult to afford housing and raise families. This dynamic creates a vicious cycle. Seoul acts as a black hole drawing in provincial youth, yet it fails to create conditions conducive to settling down and raising children. Consequently, young people moving from the provinces often delay or abandon marriage and childbirth due to the prohibitive cost of living in the capital region. This results in Seoul becoming a population sink, unable to sustain its future generation, while the provinces face demographic collapse. The core solution proposed is a spatial restructuring aimed at dispersing opportunities beyond the capital region. This requires more than just creating peripheral jobs. Provinces must offer education, culture, and living infrastructure comparable to the capital. When demand shifts to the regions, the pressure on Seoul's housing and education markets can be alleviated, offering a lifeline to provincial communities. Practical steps involve administrative integration and the development of regional hubs. Merging fragmented local governments into broader economic and living zones can foster regional competitiveness. Crucially, however, mere administrative merging is insufficient. True sustainability requires substantive devolution of legislative, administrative, and fiscal authority, allowing regions to innovate and generate independent economic foundations. The current trajectory suggests that administrative integration efforts should serve as a starting point, leading toward deeper institutional reforms and potential constitutional amendments for decentralization. Ultimately, the report concludes that saving the provinces from extinction is essential for the long-term sustainability of the entire South Korean community, as the capital region's viability is intrinsically linked to the vitality of its surrounding regions. Seoul, South Korea, in a developing story concerning maritime incidents in a critical global waterway, The South Korean government has officially concluded that a fire aboard a Korean vessel in the Strait of Hormuz on May 4 was the result of a collision with an unidentified flying object. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced the findings of a joint government investigation on Wednesday, confirming that an unidentified flying object struck the stern of the HMM Namu during the incident. While the cause of the fire has been attributed to this impact, the ministry cautioned that there remain limitations in precisely identifying the exact model and physical size of the object involved. Authorities have indicated that further analysis is underway, focusing on debris recovered from the scene, as they work to gather more definitive information regarding the event. Seoul, South Korea. In response to mounting concerns over a potential housing market listing freeze following the reinstatement of heavier capital gains taxes on multi-home owners, the South Korean government is signaling an aggressive strategy focused on increasing supply and implementing targeted regulatory adjustments. Land, Infrastructure and Transport Minister Kim Yoon-deok addressed market anxieties on social media, assuring the public that the current administration would differ from past approaches to market stabilization. Minister Kim explicitly stated plans to review exemptions from land transaction permit requirements for non-resident single-home owners. Furthermore, he indicated that the Ministry of Economy and Finance would assess the tax equity of permanent capital gains tax reduction benefits currently granted to rental business operators. These moves are interpreted as direct efforts to counteract potential supply contraction by encouraging listings from purchase rental landlords and non-resident single-home owners, especially as incentives for multi-home owners to sell have diminished. Kim emphasized a shift in policy direction, asserting that the current government is pursuing fundamental institutional reform in real estate, moving beyond mere market stabilization while maintaining macroeconomic controls. Market analysts view these impending regulatory changes as critical determinants for the future real estate landscape. While the tax hike is expected to cause immediate transactional slowdowns and price increases due to supply shortages, experts suggest the government's countermeasures could mitigate a severe transaction cliff. Park One-gap, chief real estate specialist at KB Kookman Bank, noted that while transactions may decrease temporarily, an immediate surge in home prices is unlikely given the current upward trend in interest rates. On the ground, while immediate fire sale listings have reportedly subsided, brokers are closely monitoring the forthcoming tax code revision bill expected in July. Concerns are rising among homeowners, particularly elderly owners, who fear that a reduction in the long-term holding special deduction for non-resident single-home owners, coupled with increased property holding taxes, could trigger a second wave of selling. Seoul has strongly condemned an attack on a civilian cargo vessel in the Strait of Hormuz, emphasizing that such actions cannot be tolerated. A government investigation confirmed that the ship, identified as HMM Namu, was struck by unidentified objects, but authorities have refrained from assigning blame at this stage. Presidential Security Advisor Wai Sung-lak stated that South Korea will pursue further investigation to identify the responsible party, the nature of the projectile, and its size before determining a response. Seoul will also intensify coordination with allied nations and bolster protection for Korean vessels and crews operating in the region. The joint South Korean government investigation found that two unidentified aerial objects struck the stern of the HMM Namu approximately 1 minute apart on May 4, while the vessel was anchored near the UAE side of the strait. The strikes resulted in the vessel shaking, producing flames and smoke, and creating a crater on the outer hull measuring 5 meters wide and up to 7 meters deep. While CCTV footage captured the flying objects, authorities have not yet determined if they were drones or missiles, or who launched them. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Park Il confirmed that no assumptions are being made regarding responsibility, citing field inspections and CCTV analysis. Investigators believe the fire's cause is unrelated to the vessel's interior. A team of maritime investigators and fire forensics experts conducted a day-long on-site inspection in Dubai. Recovered debris, believed to originate from the object's engines, is undergoing analysis, and the damage pattern makes a mine or torpedo strike unlikely. These findings have increased pressure on Seoul as the United States urges allies to increase contributions to maritime security in the Strait of Hormuz amid escalating tensions related to the conflict in Iran. This follows earlier claims by former President Donald Trump that the fire was an Iranian attack, urging South Korea to enhance its role in protecting shipping lanes. The investigation continues as South Korea's Defense Minister Ahn Jae-bak is in Washington for talks with U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Discussions are expected to cover wartime operational control, cooperation on nuclear-powered submarines, and restoring freedom of navigation through the Strait of Hormuz amid ongoing Iranian disruptions.